Good afternoon, SNS.
I'm Callie Vincent.
And I'm Danny Cartagena.
And this is the Rampage News.
Hey, freshmen. I know it may seem hard to find activities at school.
But me and Kay did the hard part for you.
Hey, freshmen. There are many clubs that you're capable of joining in the high school. Here are most of them.
So, I take it you're in book club.
Yes.
What got you into book club?
I like reading.
Awesome. What do you enjoy about it?
The food, definitely.
Mrs. Richardson, how do you join this book club?
You just show up to the meetings.
And when are those meetings?
We have them once a month, and it's during the lunches.
Why should people join this club?
Well, it exposes you to books that you might not normally read.
What do you enjoy about being in the book club and running it?
I love listening to everybody's opinions about the books.
What do you do in the beta club?
You just help out the community best you can.
So here you're a beta club officer. What do you do?
Right now we're working on typing up the Constitution. We only have one copy of it, and it's all handwritten.
What do you enjoy about it?
Helping out the community with my friends.
How do you join the beta club?
Okay, the Beta Club organization is an academic group, so we look at the grades of each student.
What is the purpose of the beta club?
Well, one, it's academic, so it's for students that believe their academics are very important and are diligent in their studies, but then it's also a community service group.
How do you join STUCO?
We have elections for student council officers in the fall. Council is an organization that helps. We do a lot of community outreach stuff. We collect toys for tots and things at Christmas.
Why should kids join this?
It looks really good if you were part of student government when you go filling out college applications.
What do you enjoy about STUCO?
I enjoy being able to work with certain students throughout the entire 4 years that they're in high school.
What sports do you play?
I play volleyball, track, and softball.
What got you into athletics?
My parents.
What do you enjoy about athletics?
The competition and the practices and how you have to work together as a team.
Woo! Yeah! Woo! Rampage!
Danny got a chance to speak to some students about school spirit.
Woo! Yeah! Rampage!
Let's see what they had to say.
As the school year progresses, more and more students are beginning to learn what school spirit is. Our football teams are winning, our volleyball teams are stomping. So, I interviewed some students on what they thought about school spirit. How has the spirit of the students here grown for Ram Pride?
Well, I can tell you, just watching the pep rally today, I noticed that the high school kids seem much more excited than anybody. You know, as long as we can keep that up, we're going to have a pep rally every week, and I'm just very excited.
After so many weeks here at SNS, how do you think the school pride is?
It's great. I mean, last year I was over there in the stands, and now just being in high school, the school spirit is way more intense.
After being here at SNS for so many weeks, what do you think the school spirit is like?
It's amazing. Everybody cheers for everything.
Yeah, let's go! You do it! Yeah! Okay, after so many weeks here at SNS, what do you think the school spirit has become?
It's awesome. I'm just so pumped.
After just being the beginning of the school year, what do you think the school spirit of the students are?
Well, in past years we've had a lack of spirit, and it's good this year to come in and see everyone get wild. And I sure love coming and getting wild because that's what it's about here at Ram Nation. There's no tie, there's no lose. All we do is win.
Now you have a look at SNS Ram Pride. I only got a chance to talk to some football and volleyball players.
Here's what they had to say.
SNS had their fourth football game last Friday against Valley View. After a silent first half, the Rams started mounting a comeback in the third quarter, but fell short 20-13 on a very questionable call late in the fourth quarter. Here's some highlights from the game.
After trailing at halftime 20-0, the Rams scored 13 points in the second half, just barely missing an incredible comeback. Jeremy Franklin threw for 260 yards with 2 touchdowns. Tanner Rankin collected 109 receiving yards and 1 touchdown. Willie Winborn had 58 rushing yards. With the loss, the Rams dropped to 1-3.
After the game, I got a chance to ask some of the coaches and players what was said in the locker room during halftime. So what did Coach Patterson say to you guys during halftime to get you in the right state of mind?
Well, he just kind of came out and said that we're having too many penalties and we're beating ourselves.
What I could get through all the screaming was pretty much that we were beating down ourselves with all the penalties that we had.
That they need to just keep doing their job one play at a time and everything will take care of itself.
Basically say we need to find our heart.
Basically to believe in themselves. Wanted to find out who had heart and who wanted to come out and finish the game, to finish what they started.
We all kind of, figured out we can't be our worst enemy.
To play more aggressive.
And you saw a different team that second half. They came out, they hit, and they actually beat them in the second half. It's really just trying to get this team to believe in themselves and to realize how good they are.
Sounds like it worked.
Yeah, it works pretty well.
The Lady Rams played Pottsboro last Friday. After losing the first 2 matches, they came back and won the third one, but lost the fourth one very closely. A similar thing happened on Tuesday when they played Whitewright. Lost the first 2, they came back and won the third, but lost the fourth one in a very close match. Here's some highlights from the game.
After the loss to Whitewright, the Lady Rams dropped to 1-5 in district play. Their next match will be against Callisburg today in Callisburg. I asked a couple of players what they thought the strongest part of their team was and who will be their biggest competition as district play continues on. Here's what they had to say.
What do you think is the strongest part of the team?
The hitters, our front row.
Back row.
And why is that?
Because back row is the most important part of the team. If you don't get the ball up, you can't do anything.
And who do you think will be the biggest challenge to you guys as the season goes on?
I think Callisburg will, and Whitesboro. They have one good girl, and possibly Pottsboro.
Definitely Callisburg.
That's a wrap for sports. Back to you guys.
Hey, Callie, where'd you go?
I'm right here.
Let's go to the question of the week.
We can't all be superheroes, but we can all wish we were. This week's question is, what's your superpower?
Weatherman Dan.
The weather tomorrow is going to be rainy, thunderstorms. It's a bad day. It's so bad. Next week, cold front. It's a bad day. I need more coffee. Thank you for joining in with Dan the Weatherman. Bye.
Weatherman Dan.
Well, that's all the time we got.
So tune in next week.
This has been your Rampage News.
Woo! You me pride!